The mysterious encounter. The ship drifted silently near the edge of Saturn's rings. Its metal skin was scarred by centuries of space storms. Dark shadows covered the surface, and strange green lights flickered from deep within. To human eyes, it looked less like a ship and more like a ghost, a tomb drifting through the endless black. Marcus Hale tightened the straps of his suit as his shuttle locked onto the airlock. He had trained for years, but nothing could prepare him for this moment. The first ever human to enter a fully intact alien craft. His heart pounded, not from fear of death, but from the unknown waiting inside. The airlock door groaned open, releasing a faint hiss. The corridor beyond was dark, silent, and impossibly still. Each step Marcus took echoed, as if the ship itself was listening. The walls were strange, smooth and curved, almost alive, with lines that pulsed faintly like veins under skin. "Command, I've entered the vessel," Marcus whispered into his mic. But only static answered. Something was blocking his signal. He frowned, realizing he was completely alone now, cut off from Earth. Still, curiosity pushed him forward. The deeper he walked, the stranger the silence became. It was not the silence of emptiness, but the silence of being watched. Every hair on his neck stood on end. He passed through chambers filled with machines, shaped like twisted sculptures. Some seemed broken, others still glowed with a dull blue light. They looked alien, yet almost organic, as if they were grown, not built. Then came a sound. It was faint at first, like a whisper, almost like his name. "Marcus!" He froze, his breath caught in his throat. The sound faded, then came again, clearer this time. "Marcus!" He spun around, but the corridor was empty. No life, no movement, only shadows stretching across the walls. His mind raced. Was it a hallucination from the air, or a hidden speaker? But something inside told him it was neither. It felt like the voice came from within his head. He pressed forward, faster now, drawn by instinct more than reason. At the end of the corridor, he found a door unlike the others. It was not metal, but something softer, glowing faintly with green light. As he touched it, the surface rippled like water, then opened with a low hum. Marcus stepped inside, and the door sealed shut behind him. The chamber was vast, round, and alive with pulsing light. At the center floated a sphere, black as night, covered in silver veins that moved like rivers. It pulsed slowly, like the heartbeat of a living thing. Marcus stared in awe, every muscle in his body tense. Then the voice returned, louder, filling every corner of his mind. "You are the first human I have ever trusted." Marcus stumbled back, his chest tight. The voice was not threatening, but heavy, carrying the weight of endless sorrow. He tried to speak, but his throat was dry. Finally, he managed to whisper, "Who are you?" The sphere pulsed faster, as if answering his fear. "I am Kale," the voice said, calm but tired. "The last of my kind, hidden for centuries, waiting." Marcus's hands trembled. An alien, speaking not through sound, but directly into his mind. He could feel emotion behind the words, sadness, loneliness, and something else, hope. But why him? Why trust a human now? Why me? Marcus asked, his voice shaking. The chamber grew darker, and the silver veins across the sphere flared bright. "Because your world is walking toward the same fate as mine," Kale whispered, "and I cannot watch it happen again." The room grew colder, and Marcus's breath came out in fog. He felt as if the ship itself was alive, breathing with him, surrounding him. He was no longer a visitor. He was a part of something much larger, something ancient, something broken, yet reaching for him. His instincts screamed to run, but his curiosity chained him to the spot. Every part of him wanted to know more. What was this alien story? What had it seen? Why him of all people? And the voice grew softer, almost gentle. "Marcus, I swore I would never trust again, but you are different. I see it in you, something I once saw in a friend long ago. But that friend betrayed me, and my people burned." Marcus's chest tightened at the weight of those words. He wanted to ask 100 questions, But before he could speak, the walls of the chamber shook with a low rumble. The ship groaned as if waking from a long sleep. The green veins across the walls lit up brighter, racing like fire through the corridors. Kale's voice echoed one last time, now urgent. They have found me, and now they will find you. The floor shook beneath Marcus's feet. The air filled with a strange hum, rising louder and louder. He spun toward the sealed door, trapped in the chamber, alone with an alien that had just confessed both trust and danger. And somewhere in the shadows of the living ship, something else had begun to move. The voice in the dark. The chamber trembled as Marcus steadied himself. The strange heartbeat from the sphere quickened, and the pulsing veins along the walls lit up like rivers of fire. He felt the alien's presence pushing stronger into his thoughts, not painful, but heavy, as if someone was leaning against his mind. "Do not fear the noise," Kale's voice whispered, low and calm. "It is only the ship remembering me." Marcus swallowed hard, his eyes darting around the chamber. Remembering? The ship was alive, wasn't it? Every surface moved. Every shadow seemed to breathe. He had never seen anything like it, not even in Earth's most advanced labs. "Why are you speaking to me?" Marcus asked, his voice barely a whisper. The words felt small against the vast silence. Kale's answer came slowly, each word weighed with sorrow. "Because I have watched your people from afar, and I have seen this moment coming." The chamber dimmed again, the light pulling back into the walls. Marcus felt a chill, the kind of cold that sank into his bones. Kale continued, "I once trusted another race, long ago. They promised alliance, friendship, peace, but they gave us fire, betrayal, and silence. Now I am the last." The words echoed in Marcus's head. It was not just a confession, it was a wound carried for centuries. He could feel the ache behind it, a loneliness that stretched across lifetimes. And now this alien had chosen him, a single human, to hear it. Marcus tightened his fists, trying to keep his fear under control. "If you have hidden for centuries," he asked, "why reveal yourself now?" For a long moment, there was no answer, only the steady thrum of the ship's living walls. Then Kale spoke again, softer this time, almost pleading. "Because your kind walks the same road, I see in your people the same hunger, the same mistakes. And if you fall, you will not fall alone. Your world will burn as mine did." The words cut deep into Marcus. This wasn't just history, it was a warning. But could he trust it? Humans had feared alien manipulation for decades. Every protocol warned against believing voices in the dark. Yet something in Kale's tone felt real, raw, untouched by deception. The chamber shifted again, the floor vibrating under his boots. A passage opened at the far wall, glowing faintly with pale blue light. "Come," Kale said, "there is more you must see." Marcus hesitated, glancing back at the sealed door he entered from. It remained shut, no way out, no escape. With a sharp breath, he stepped forward into the passage. The walls seemed narrower here, curving tightly, forcing him deeper into the heart of the ship. As he moved, Kale's voice followed him, weaving through the silence. "Do you know why I trust you, Marcus Hale?" Marcus's chest tightened at the sound of his own name. He had never spoken it aloud since entering. Yet Kale knew. "Ow," he whispered. "I hear the rhythm of your mind," Kale answered. "It is steady, not poisoned by hunger for power. You are a seeker, not a conqueror. That is why." Marcus shook his head, the words almost too much. To be read, to be known so deeply by a being not of Earth, it was terrifying, yet strangely comforting. For the first time, he felt less alone. But the thought carried weight. What if this alien was wrong about him? What if he failed? The corridor opened into another chamber, vast and towering. Here the walls shimmered with images, not painted, but alive, moving like memories trapped in light. Marcus stepped closer, eyes widening. He saw creatures, tall, slender, with luminous skin and eyes like stars. They moved together in peace, in harmony, until fire swallowed their cities. Armies rose against them, strange machines tearing through their world. Screams echoed without sound, only through the shifting lights. Marcus realized he was watching Kale's people. He was watching their fall. The images pulled at his chest, raw and unfiltered. A world betrayed, a people lost, and now only one remained, speaking in his mind. "I was there when the sky burned," Kale whispered, his voice trembling for the first time. "I was there when trust became a weapon, when hope became a chain." The lights flickered, showing the alien fleet broken, drifting like ash across the stars. "I hid," Kale admitted. "I hid in silence for centuries, and I swore I would never trust again." Marcus stared at the images, his throat dry. "Then why me?" he asked again, desperate. The answer came soft, yet firm. "Because even in silence, I watch your kind rise. I saw your cruelty, but also your kindness. I saw your wars, but also your mercy. And when I looked at you, Marcus Hale, I saw the choice." The chamber darkened, leaving only Kale's voice. "You can walk away now. Forget this place, forget me, and your world will go on toward its own ruin." The air grew colder, pressing against Marcus like invisible hands. "Or you can carry my words, take my warning, and bear the weight of trust that no other being has ever held." Marcus's hands trembled, his breath quick. He had come here as an explorer, but now the fate of his world pressed against him like a blade. And standing in a voice of the dark, he realized something terrifying. This was not only a confession, it was a burden, one he could never escape. The alien's confession. Marcus stood frozen in the chamber, the moving lights of Kale's memories still dancing across the walls. His heart pounded as the images faded into darkness, leaving only the echo of Kale's voice in his mind. The silence that followed felt heavy, as if the ship itself was waiting for his response. Finally, Marcus found his voice, weak but steady. "You showed me your world, your pain, but why me? Why trust me when you trusted before and were betrayed?" For a moment, Kale said nothing. Then the black sphere at the center of the chamber pulsed with light, slow and steady, like the beat of a living heart. When the voice came again, it carried both sorrow and weight. "Because I am dying, Marcus Hale, I am the last voice of my people, and before I fade, I must decide whether silence saves more than truth." Marcus's breath caught. The alien was not only alone, it was running out of time. Every word now carried the urgency of a final confession. Kale continued, his tone softer. "You asked why I do not trust. Let me tell you, my people, the Lithri, once shared the stars with another race. We believe them brothers. We believe them friends. For centuries we gave them our knowledge, our power, our trust." The walls shifted again, shimmering with light. This time Marcus saw two great fleets meeting in peace, exchanging gifts, trading voices across the stars. It looked beautiful, like harmony made real. "But beauty hides the sharpest blades," Kale whispered. The images twisted, peace turning to fire, the fleet of allies turning their weapons against the Lithri without warning. Cities fell, towers crumbled, skies burned. The betrayal was sudden, ruthless, and absolute. "They called it survival," Kale said, his voice colder now. "They claimed we had grown too strong, that our unity threatened them. But in truth, it was fear, and fear kills faster than any war." Marcus clenched his fists, his stomach twisting as he watched the massacre. He had seen wars on Earth, but nothing like this. This was not battle. This was slaughter. The images dimmed, leaving only the glowing sphere. Kale's voice trembled as he spoke again. "I swore that day, as my people's voices turned to silence, that I would never open myself to trust again. Not with your kind, not with any kind. I buried myself in the shadows of the galaxy, carrying only silence, and silence kept me alive." Marcus felt the ache in every word. This was not just memory, it was a wound that never healed. Yet now Kale had broken his own vow, speaking to a human, letting him see everything. "You are asking me to carry this weight," Marcus said, his voice unsteady. "But what if I fail you? What if I am no different from those who betrayed you?" The chamber pulsed with dim light, slow, steady, almost comforting. "You will fail," Kale answered, shocking Marcus. The words hit him like ice. "But failure is not the end, Marcus Hale. It is the choice to rise after failure that makes trust possible. I cannot know if you will betray me, but I know this: silence will betray you far worse." Marcus's breath quickened. He had come here seeking discovery, not responsibility, but every word tied him deeper into Kale's fate, into the shadow of a war that had ended centuries ago but might yet repeat. "Why me?" Marcus asked again, quieter this time, almost pleading. The answer came slower now, as if Kale himself searched for truth. "Because when I reach into your mind, I do not find hunger, I do not find greed. I find something I once lost long ago. I find trust." The last word lingered in Marcus's mind, heavy, unshakable. Trust, the very thing that destroyed the Lithari, the very thing Kale swore never to give again. And yet here it was, handed to him, a human stranger, in the ruins of an alien tomb. Marcus lowered his head, his chest tight. "I don't know if I can carry this," he whispered. "You can," Kale replied, firm this time, almost commanding. "Because if you cannot, then no one will, and your people will burn as mine did." The ship groaned, the walls trembling with a low hum. The veins of light pulsed faster, rushing like rivers toward the sphere. Kale's presence grew stronger in Marcus's mind, filling him, pressing against every thought. And for a terrifying moment, Marcus felt as if he was no longer alone in his own body. "Do not fear," Kale said, his voice echoing like thunder and whisper at once. "This is only a bond, fragile, but real, a link of thought, of memory, of trust. It will fade if you wish it, but it is yours now." Marcus staggered, gripping the side of the chamber, his vision swimming. He felt flashes, Kale's memories bleeding into his own. He saw the laughter of children beneath alien skies, the warmth of suns he had never known, then the fire, the screams, the silence. He gasped, pulling back, his chest heaving. Kale's voice softened again, like a fading echo. "Now you carry more than words. Marcus Hale, you carry me." The chamber stilled, the lights dimming until only a faint glow remained. Marcus stood trembling, shaken to his core. He had come as an explorer, but now he was something else entirely. A keeper of trust, the last voice of an alien people resting inside his own mind. And far beyond the ship's walls, something unseen stirred in the void, as if Kale's confession had awakened more than memories. Secrets of the war. The silence inside the alien ship grew heavy again, but Marcus no longer felt alone. Kale's presence lingered in his mind, like a second heartbeat, steady and quiet. Every breath Marcus took, he felt watched, not by eyes, but by memories, by centuries of pain and sorrow. He stood in the glowing chamber, his thoughts still shaken from the bond Kale had forced upon him. The alien's memories clung to his mind like smoke, flashes of light, fire, betrayal, and silence. He closed his eyes, but the vision stayed. And then Kale spoke again, his voice quieter than before, but carrying the weight of stone. "There are truths you must know, Marcus Hale, truths your people are not ready for, but they will face them whether they are ready or not." Marcus opened his eyes slowly, staring at the black sphere pulsing faintly in the center of the room. "What truths?" he asked, though he wasn't sure he wanted the answer. The walls around him lit up once more, streams of pale light racing like rivers. This time the images were not of Kale's people, but of others. Armies in the dark, ships with shapes Marcus could barely comprehend, weapons that cut through planets like knives. He staggered back, his heart hammering. Kale's voice deepened. "The war that destroyed my people was not only betrayal. It was design. The galaxy itself was shaped by those who benefit from endless conflict. You must understand, Marcus, war is not always born of anger. Sometimes it is planted like a seed, tended like a garden." Marcus frowned, the words chilling him. "Planted? By who?" The images shifted again. He saw shadowed figures, not quite clear, their forms hidden in light and fog. Ships bent like blades, fleets moving with perfect order. Kale's voice trembled. They called themselves the architects, unseen hands pulling the strings of empires. They gave power to some, fear to others, always pushing toward conflict, always feeding on chaos. Marcus's stomach twisted. He had expected betrayal, perhaps even greed, but this was something far worse. A force that wanted war, that built war, not to win, but to keep the galaxy burning. They whispered to my allies. Kale said, filled them with lies, told them we would rise too high, told them survival meant striking first. And so my people burned while the architects watched. Marcus shook his head, his voice tight. Why didn't you fight them? Why didn't anyone stop them? Kale's reply came heavy, soaked with regret. Because no one could see them clearly, they hid behind others, moving shadows into place. We struck at those who betrayed us, not knowing the true hand behind the blade, and by the time we realized, it was too late. The chamber dimmed, leaving Marcus in the glow of his own suit. The silence between Kale's words pressed against his chest. Finally, he whispered, "Are they still out there?" The sphere pulsed slowly, as if the question pained it. "Yes, Marcus Hale, they're always there, waiting, planting. They do not fight themselves, they do not bleed. They only watch and whisper and build, and soon they will turn their gaze to your kind." Marcus's throat tightened, his breath uneven. Earth had always dreamed of reaching the stars. But if Kale was right, then humanity was walking into a trap far greater than anything it imagined. A war it didn't even know had already been prepared. He clenched his fists, anger boiling under his fear. "Why tell me this?" he asked, his voice trembling. "What can I do against something like that?" Kale's voice softened, almost like a sigh. "Because truth must begin somewhere. I'm not asking you to fight them. Not yet. I'm asking you to carry my warning, to prepare your people, to see the signs before it is too late." The walls shivered, light racing across them like veins of lightning. Kale's presence grew heavier, pressing deeper into Marcus's thoughts. "You are the first human I have ever trusted, Marcus Hale. And if you fail, your world will suffer what mine did. Silence will not save you." Marcus staggered, his breath sharp. The responsibility pressed against him like a weight he could not lift. And yet, deep inside, a spark flickered, not of fear but of resolve. He could not abandon this truth, not now, not after seeing what silence had cost Kale. The ship groaned suddenly, a deep rumble shaking through the chamber. Dust fell from the curved walls, and the sphere pulsed brighter. Kale's voice turned sharp. "They're searching. They can feel me now. You must leave soon, or they will find you too." Marcus's pulse raced. "Who?" he demanded, but Kale's voice had grown faint, almost drowned by the growing hum of the ship. "The hunters," Kale whispered. "The ones who serve the architects, the ones who never stop." The chamber shook harder, lights flashing red along the walls. Marcus turned toward the passage he had entered from, but it was sealed shut. The air grew thin, the silence filled with a rising hum that vibrated in his bones. And in that moment, he realized something terrifying. Kale's secrets were not just history. They were living, breathing dangers, and they were coming closer. The test of trust. The chamber shook violently, and Marcus steadied himself against the trembling wall. The pulsing veins of light across the ship glowed red now, flashing like warning signals in the dark. Kale's voice pressed into his mind again, sharp and urgent. "They are near, Marcus Hale. The hunters will come. They always come. But you must not leave empty-handed. You must carry my words, my truth, to your people." Marcus swallowed hard, his heart pounding against his ribs. "Why me? Why not someone stronger, someone in power, someone who can actually do something?" The black sphere pulsed brighter, silver veins racing across its surface. "Because those in power cannot hear me. They're already blind, already deaf, already whispering with the architects. You are the only one untouched." The weight of the words pressed down on Marcus like chains. He was just a scientist, an explorer, not a soldier, not a leader. And yet, this dying alien was placing the fate of two species into his hands. Kale's voice softened now, almost pleading. I ask only one thing. Marcus Hale, carry my warning, not to all, but to the few who can still listen, share my memories, share my truth, and prepare them, for the architects will turn their gaze to earth. Marcus's chest tightened. To carry Kale's words meant defying orders, defying his own government. He knew what would happen. They would call him compromised, corrupted, dangerous. They would silence him before he could even speak. The sphere pulsed again, and Kale's voice grew heavier. This is the test of trust. Human, I give you my life's memory, my final confession, and you must choose whether to bury in silence or risk everything to carry it forward. Marcus's thoughts swirled in chaos. Could he truly do this? Could he risk his career, his freedom, maybe even his life? And yet, as he hesitated, Kale's sorrow bled into his mind again. A sorrow so raw that Marcus felt tears sting his eyes. The laughter of alien children, the cries of betrayal, the fire that swallowed entire cities. All of it was his now, whether he wanted it or not. The ship trembled harder, a deep rumble rising through its bones. From somewhere beyond the chamber came a screeching sound, metallic and sharp, like claws dragging across steel. Marcus spun toward the sealed passage, dread filling his stomach. What is that? He whispered, his voice shaking. Kale's reply was almost a hiss. The hunters, they serve the architects. They erase voices like mine. They erase truth. And if they find you, Marcus Hale, they will erase you too. The sound grew louder, echoing down unseen corridors. Marcus's pulse raced, his hands trembling as he looked back at the sphere. What do I do? The sphere pulsed one last time, sending a ripple of light through the chamber. Kale's voice filled his mind, calm now but final. You will take a piece of me, a shard of memory. It will live within you. It will burn if you lie. It will break if you betray, and it will guide you when all else fails. This is my gift and my curse. Do you accept it? Marcus's throat tightened, his mind screaming against the weight of the choice. But deep inside, something answered before he could think. Yes, he whispered, his voice barely audible. I'll carry it. The sphere flared with light, flooding the chamber in silver and blue. Marcus staggered as a wave of energy surged into him, searing through his thoughts, his bones, his very soul. He gasped, falling to his knees, visions exploding behind his eyes. He saw Kale's people, their final stand, the betrayal, the fire, and finally silence. But within the silence, he felt something new. Trust, fragile, trembling, but real. When the light faded, Marcus lay panting on the floor, his body shaking. Kale's voice whispered, weaker now, fading. It is done. Marcus Hale, you're no longer alone. My truth is your truth. My burden is your burden. Now go before they reach you. The screeching sound grew closer, echoing like thunder through the ship's hollow corridors. The sealed passage before Marcus hissed opened with a groan, revealing a narrow escape route lined with glowing veins of light. Marcus rose, unsteady, but something inside him felt stronger now, heavier but unbreakable. He looked once more at the sphere, the last voice of a dead people. And for the first time, he spoke not as an explorer, but as a bearer of something greater. I won't let your trust die with me. The passage shook as another screech tore through the ship. Closer now, too close. Marcus ran, the ship groaning and trembling around him, his breath ragged, but his resolve sharp. Kale's final words echoed in his mind, steady as his heartbeat. You are the first human I have ever trusted. Do not prove me wrong. The betrayal within. Marcus stumbled through the narrow corridor, the ship shuddering with every screech that echoed behind him. The hunters were coming, their claws scraping metal, their voices like broken machines. Each step felt heavier, not just from fear, but from the burden now burning inside his mind. Kale's memories, Kale's trust. The glowing veins of the passage led him forward. until finally he reached the airlock where his shuttle was still attached. The door hissed open, and Marcus pulled himself inside, slamming his hand against the controls. The shuttle detached with a violent jerk, drifting free from the alien vessel. Behind him, the ship pulsed with faint light, like a dying heart slowly going dark. Kale's voice whispered faintly inside his mind. They will not follow beyond my walls, but their eyes are many. Beware your own people. Marcus Hale, not all who wear your face are free from their whispers. The words chilled Marcus more than the hunter's claws. His own people, could they already be compromised? The thought gnawed at him as the shuttle engines roared to life, carrying him back toward the orbiting fleet, back toward Earth. By the time he landed on the station orbiting Saturn, his body trembled with exhaustion. But he found no rest. 2 officers in black uniforms were already waiting, their faces stern, their eyes sharp. "Dr. Hale," one said, his voice flat. "You will come with us immediately." Marcus frowned. "I need to report." The man cut him off. "Your report will be taken in secure chambers. You are not to speak freely until authorized." The grip on Marcus's arm was firm, too firm, and for the first time he realized Cale had been right. They didn't want his discovery. They wanted control of it. Hours later, Marcus sat in a cold room, metal walls reflecting the dim light. Across from him, 3 officials watched silently, their faces unreadable. Finally, the one in the center spoke. "You entered the alien vessel. You made contact. Tell us everything you saw." Marcus hesitated, Cale's warning heavy in his ears. "Not all who wear your face are free from their whispers. If the architects truly influenced others, how could he know who was safe to trust?" "I found no survivors," Marcus said carefully. "The ship was abandoned, its systems decayed." The officials exchanged a glance, eyes narrowing. "And yet," one said, "your vitals spiked. Your suit recorded stress levels beyond normal range. Something happened in there. Dr. Hale, what are you hiding?" Marcus's heart pounded. If he told them the truth, about Cale, about the architects, they might silence him before he left this room. If he lied, he betrayed Cale's trust. The weight of choice pressed hard against him. Suddenly, a sharp pain stabbed through his skull, Cale's presence flaring inside his mind. He gasped, gripping the edge of the table. Cale's voice echoed, fierce and unyielding. "Do not give them silence, Marcus, but do not give them everything. The wrong ears will twist the truth into chains." Marcus breathed slowly, steadying himself. "I found evidence of a war," he said, his voice calm. "Records of destruction, a betrayal. But the systems were too damaged to recover more." The officials leaned forward, their eyes hungry. "Did you recover alien technology? Weapons? Memory cores?" Marcus shook his head. "No, nothing usable. The ship is collapsing. Whatever was there will be lost soon." The room fell silent, but Marcus could feel it, suspicion thick in the air. One official leaned closer, lowering his voice. "Dr. Hale, understand this. The discovery belongs not to you, but to us. If you withhold information, it will be considered treason." The word cut like a blade. Treason. He had known this path would lead to danger, but hearing the threats spoken aloud still chilled him. As he was escorted back to his quarters, Marcus felt Cale's presence stir again. "They do not believe you. They smell the truth beneath your words. Soon they will test you. And when they do, you must decide whether to protect me or protect yourself." Marcus sank into the chair of his quarters, staring out at the black void of space. His chest tightened, fear gnawing at his resolve. Already his people suspected him. Already they looked at him not as a hero, but as a traitor, and Cale's warning repeated in his mind like a drumbeat. "Not all who wear your face are free from their whispers." He closed his eyes, his fists clenched. The hunters were not only alien, they were here too, hidden in shadows, wearing human faces, and soon he would have to face them. The final choice. Marcus stared out at the void from his quarters, the black sea of stars pressing against the glass like 1,000 unblinking eyes. His hands trembled, his chest heavy with the weight of Kale's words. The alien's voice lingered in his mind like an echo that refused to fade. "You are the first human I have ever trusted. Do not prove me wrong." The door slid open without warning, two guards stepping inside, their faces cold, their eyes too sharp. "Dr. Hell," one said, his voice flat, "the council demands your full testimony now." Marcus rose slowly, every muscle tight, every instinct screaming that this was not a request, it was an order. They led him through steel corridors into the heart of the station. The chamber of the council was vast, filled with shadows. 7 figures sat at a curved table, their expressions masked by the dim light. The highest official leaned forward, his voice steady but sharp. "You have lied to us, Dr. Hale. Your suit recorded mental spikes, auditory anomalies, physical strain. What spoke to you in that ship?" Marcus froze, Kale's warning burning in his chest. "Not all who wear your face are free from their whispers." He scanned the council, searching their eyes, wondering how many were already under the architect's influence. If he told the truth here, Kale's confession might never reach Earth. If he lied again, Kale's trust would shatter inside him. Kale's voice pressed softly into his thoughts, faint but steady. "This is your choice, Marcus, truth or silence, light or shadow. I cannot choose for you." Marcus's throat tightened, his palms sweating. Finally, he drew in a breath and spoke. "I found more than ruins. I made contact, the last survivor of an alien race. His name was Kale." Gasps rippled through the chamber, the council members leaning forward sharply. Marcus continued, his voice stronger now. "He showed me his people, showed me their betrayal, their destruction, and he warned me, humanity is walking into the same trap. The architects are real, and they are watching us." The room exploded into whispers, fear and anger mixing in their voices. The highest official slammed his hand against the table. "Enough. You bring us fairy tales and call them warnings. There are no architects, only the ramblings of a mind poisoned by alien influence." 2 guards stepped forward, their hands on their weapons. Marcus's chest pounded, Kale's voice rising inside him like a roar. "Do not let them silence you. Marcus, speak, carry my truth, even if your voice is the last." Marcus's voice rose, fierce and unyielding. "They will come. I have seen what they do. They whisper fear, they plant wars, they tear apart worlds. And if we ignore this, Earth will burn as Kale's world burned." One of the council members stood, her face pale, her hands trembling. "Stop him," the lead official barked. The guards moved closer, but Marcus stepped back, his hand darting to the console built into the chamber wall. With a desperate strike, he activated the broadcast channel. Red lights flared across the chamber as alarms blared. Marcus's voice carried not only through the room, but across the station, across the network. To every listening ear, he declared, "This is not a lie. This is not madness. I have seen the truth. Kale trusted me with his memories, his warning, and I will not let silence bury him. Earth must be ready. The architects are real, and they are coming." The guards lunged, dragging him to the ground. His voice cut short as the transmission ended, but the message was already sent. Every soldier, every scientist, every civilian on the network had heard his words. The chamber filled with shouts, some furious, some fearful. The council's control cracked in that single moment. Pinned to the ground, Marcus felt Kale's presence stir faintly one last time. "You have done what I could not. You have broken the silence. Now the choice is theirs, but you are not alone. Not anymore." The guards pulled him to his feet, their grip iron tight. The highest official glared at him, rage burning in his eyes. "You are a traitor, Hale. You have doomed us all." Marcus's lips curled into the faintest of smiles, though his body shook with fear. "No," he whispered, his voice steady. "I gave us a chance." As they dragged him from the chamber, he looked one last time at the stars through the window. Somewhere in the darkness, Kale's voice faded, leaving silence. But it was not the silence of defeat. It was the silence before a storm. And in that storm, Humanity would either rise together or fall forever.